and to moot out a way forward. And I'll share with you some of the issues that we have discussed and how we hope going forward things should happen. Number one, we want to unequivocally and vehemently condemn what transpired at Parliament last week. You see, Parliament is a place for discourse, intellectual discourse. We sit, deliberate on different matters, pass laws, engage on policy formulation, etc., etc. That's what this space is for. Unfortunately, last week it descended into something else. We did see journalists being pushed out of the chambers of Parliament and detained in Conference Hall B, because we saw many of you speaking out as journalists saying you could not even be allowed to leave the Conference Hall B, to even go back to your media houses or home or whatever the case might be. So effectively, you were under some kind of detention. Problematic. The time I've been here in Parliament, the time I covered Parliament as a journalist, I had never seen that. Because even during Tojukwata Co, as they were roughing up MPs, journalists were not bothered at all. They were not disturbed because they're there to do their job. This time it was different. So journalists were hounded out, detained, lights were switched off, another fast. Because again, during Tojukwata Co, the lights remained on and they did all that they had to do. But this time, because they had a criminal intent, that's why they sent journalists away, locked them up somewhere, switched off the lights, and then goons descended on Parliament. And by the way, network connectivity was also jammed. One could not make a call, and so on and so forth. Some of you later, as journalists, told us, we're trying to reach out to you to tell us what's happening since we have been chased out, but you could not reach us because the network connectivity had been tampered with. All clearly showing the criminal intent from the word go. So we condemn that raid on Parliament. We saw female members of Parliament being roughed up by men. This is despicable. It is unacceptable. And we are demanding answers regarding what transpired. The Speaker sent Parliament on to a recess of sorts, adjourned it Sunday, but as soon as Parliament is recalled, we are going to demand for answers to establish what happened, why did it happen as it did. We did see later on the Speaker expunged some of the remarks that I made, asking questions about who raided Parliament. Because as far as we were concerned, these were security operatives. Otherwise, who would access Parliament with all the deployment there was, right from the gate, and then to the parliamentary chambers? And the Speaker was saying the remarks I made were defamatory. And so she ordered that my remarks be expunged from the Hansard. When we return to Parliament, I will ask her, now that you're saying I was wrong to claim it was security operatives, you, Madam Speaker, tell us who raided Parliament, now that you know. If it wasn't security operatives, who? So the Speaker has got to give us an answer. Because we did see at the tail end, she was thanking Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Internal Affairs for handling the situation at Parliament. So she has an idea. She knows who raided Parliament, and she has got to give us answers regarding this issue. The other answers we are seeking for, members of Parliament were suspended for 3 sittings. All were opposition MPs. The Speaker did not give any reason for suspending these MPs. A reason has got to be given. When you suspend members, you name them and you justify why you are suspending them, because we want to know. Otherwise, we think they were being hounded, they were being discriminated against. The House was heated up because of the matter that we were handling that day. There was heckling in the entire House. When I stood up to speak, as I was advancing my points, colleagues on the NRM did not want to listen to the laws I was quoting and so on, and they began to heckle. I did not see the speaker suspend any of them. So we want to know, why did she suspend the members whom she suspended? Many of them were seated, had not even said a word. We are demanding for answers. And as soon as Parliament resumes, we shall ask her to explain to us why did she suspend members of Parliament. Yes, she has powers to suspend MPs. But you see, even when you have powers within the law to do certain things, you must operate within the law. She has got to give us an explanation. Why did she suspend the members that she suspended? What did they do that other people did not do, including our colleagues in the NRM, who were heckling us? So was it okay for them to heckle and not for the others? I want to appreciate colleagues in the opposition for remaining united. We did see colleagues put up a spirited fight in defense of coffee, because this matter has been on for some time. We stalled this matter twice before even when it did come up again. But it's because we were united and have continuously put up a spirited fight regarding this matter, and we have pledged to continue that way in all the meetings that we have held as the opposition generally, including this morning. We want to keep up with the fight for coffee. We saw General Museveni called a press conference, and there were several claims, one of which was that UCDA gives coffee seedlings to only opposition MPs. And he was saying that's why we were speaking out in defense of UCDA. He forgets that Parliament generally had thrown out this bill. Parliament has majority NRM. So is he saying, so what exactly was he trying to say? Because initially we had all said no. It's just that he insisted, he called his NRM MPs, threatened them, intimidated them. But for us, he has no authority over us. And so he could not call us to order the way he called to order his leaders within the NRM. So now that he realized we were putting up a spirited fight, he began propaganda. Because to say that UCDA has been giving coffee seedlings to only the opposition, and that's why they are defending it. How about colleagues in the NRM who initially were also speaking in defense of UCDA? Are they also opposition? Is it because they're also being given coffee seedlings? So we would like him to substantiate. We shall not accept propaganda, even if it is from the person occupying State House. Just because the occupying State House does not give you the wherewithal to say whatever you want to say, and you cannot back it up. So now that he has made those claims, we want him to substantiate those claims. Bring evidence, so that it does not become okay to spew out propaganda as and when somebody does wish. Again, clearly showing what his motive has been from the word go. He paraded people there, praise singers, for the narrative that he has been taking. I kept thinking, if you are seeking to have a good understanding, why did he not invite some people from within his party who have been against rationalizing UCDA? They didn't have to be from the opposition, but there are people within his party who have been speaking out. Why did he not invite them to hear from them as well? Why did he not invite his senior presidential advisor, Dr. Ezra Suruma, who he pays a salary, facilitates to advise him, and has been speaking and advising him against rationalizing UCDA? Why did he not invite him to that press conference to hear him out as well? But of course, he had to paint an image to show that everybody is happy with what has happened. That's not true. We, number one, are encouraging the people of Uganda to keep growing coffee. Because it's possible government wants to demobilize them and discourage them from growing coffee. We are here to encourage Ugandans across the country, in all regions of the country. Please grow even more coffee, because the fight for coffee has not ended. Some think that the fight was wrapped up. No, that's not the case. So Please grow as much coffee as you possibly can. The fight is still on. General Museveni might think he has had his day. No, coffee is going to be here much longer than him. That's for sure. Because, as we know, it remains for generations and generations. So please do not be discouraged. This fight is very much still on. Grow as much coffee as you possibly can, because this fight has not ended. As the opposition, as those of us who think the way we do regarding these matters, government has been saying they are rationalizing to save taxpayers' money. Of course, we have objected to that, saying it is not true. If you're saying you're rationalizing to save taxpayers' money, there are certain other things we should have been seen to be done. And so we want to see, and it's something we are going to push for now and going forward. There are several other entities that are still in place that we think should also be rationalized. Now that you're saying your concern is to save taxpayers' money, so we are going to push that front. There are many other entities that have been created which don't even require a bill in parliament because they are not creatures of statute. Mr. Museveni just issued a directive and they were created. State House Health Monitoring Unit, State House Anti-Corruption Unit, State House Investor Protection Unit, State House Revenue Collection and Operations Unit, State House Land Unit. There's a unit on literally anything and everything in State House, which is fully fledged. It has got its leadership, it's got staff, it is facilitated like an entity. We want to see all those units disbanded because they are consuming taxpayers' money. If you think the IGG is not doing a good job in fighting corruption, you replace her as opposed to creating another outfit. If you think the Ministry of Health is not doing a good job, as opposed to creating the State House Health Monitoring Unit and that kind of thing, you fire the people who are there. You're the one who appoints them. These ones whom you put in this unit, put them at the ministry. Let's send all these ones back to the ministries because he is saying his ministries are very effective. They do a good job. That would mean all these units and some of these entities are useless. After all, the ministries are doing a good job. So let's send everything back to the ministries so that we disband these things that are consuming taxpayers' money. That's the other front that we are taking. And we are hoping that government will not play games around that. All these numerous entities that are problematic, unnecessary. Of course, they were created to create jobs for relatives, in-laws, outlaws, and everybody in that ring. So we are pushing on that front to see that they are all disbanded. Let's be serious about saving taxpayers' money. If we really are, that's the direction we want to see. And of course, these other positions that have been created, we want to see them being disbanded. You have an RDC, deputy RDC, assistant RDC. For what? Let's disband all of these ones. Because we want to save, and we must be able to save taxpayers' money. Otherwise, from our end, we are saying that the fight for coffee and indeed other cash crops is on, because we want to rally the country so that we have an economic fight. This is a fight for economic empowerment. We saw what happened to cotton. We saw what happened to vanilla, to moringa. I was in eastern Uganda recently. Sugarcane, a ton of sugarcane was at 250,000 shillings. It is now at 50,000 shillings. We want to see all those cash crops revived. And that's the economic war we are going for. And generally, seeing how public expenditure comes down. You have been seeing us go after entities that are given money, literally donations. Rocco, 263 billion. Atiak Sugar Factory, 553 billion. Day Biopharma, 723 billion shillings. Luvoa Specialized Hospital, 600 billion shillings plus, and others. All of this has got to stop. If you're serious about saving taxpayers' money, that's what we want to see. And that's the fight that we want to keep pushing. We want to see a serious fight against corruption. We lose over 10 trillion shillings every year to corruption. If General Museveni is really serious about saving taxpayers' money, we want to see him put up a spirited fight against corruption. All we see today is him defending the corrupt, saying, leave this one, don't touch this one, leave these thieves. After all, they are investing the money they steal here. But what are they investing the money in? It is private enterprises. So we want to see a spirited fight in that regard. And that's the bigger war that we want to keep pushing. As we keep fighting for coffee and all the other cash crops, we are saying this war we have been at against corruption, seeing that taxpayers' money is not doled out to anyone and everyone, we want to push it further and expose this regime to the core. I'll quickly translate what I have said. The battle was with we opposition MPs, and so they could do what they did, chase journalists out, put off the lights, and then raid and grab us and that kind of thing. But the people of Uganda are the biggest stakeholders in this matter. And so we are going to them to say, by the way, you have a few months to fight back. These people have taken away your coffee. In a couple of months, you have got an opportunity to determine whether or not they should continue to wield the power to take away anything and everything that they want, including power. And so we are taking that to the people as well, to help them realize that they are still part of this war in every sense. They might not have a chance to come to the chambers and that kind of thing, but the power is very much within their hands. And as NRM people are coming there to you, because the election season has started, please put them to them these matters of coffee. They are your enemies. And so we are coming to connect with you in this fight, to show you who your enemies are, your real enemies, and also tell you you have an opportunity to send them away once and for all. And that's why we are saying the fight is still on. So that's the next step that we are taking. I think generally the questions were around that. It results into a member punching another. That's uncalled for. It is wrong. It is unacceptable. We are engaging all of these members. I've spoken to the Honourables